Hey everyone, welcome back to ACT Math Quick Hits, where you can make one small change. And watching these videos doesn't cost you any money, only costs you a little bit of time, and you can help improve your math ACT score. There's the rundown of the math section of the ACT, and let's get back into it for today. All right, so today we have a geometry question here. It gives us a rectangle, and it says these segments BE and CE make or partition the rectangle into three triangles. Then it gives us the length of DE is 7. Tells us BE is 26 and CE is 25. What is the length of in centimeters of BC, right? So we're trying to find this side of our rectangle here. So the fact that it's a rectangle helps because it tells us about right angles. So we're actually going to zoom in here. This is kind of a nice function on the digital ACT here so that we can zoom in and kind of see this figure and figure out what we need to do. All right, so we said we wanted that side over here, BC. So what we're going to do is, kind of figure out some other sides by using some right triangle applications. So the first thing I'm going to find is I'm going to find this DC down here. So the length of this segment. Again, because it's a rectangle, I know I have a whole bunch of right triangles. And for this right triangle, I have a side 7, a side 25, and I don't know the other one. So we could use Pythagorean's theorem here, do 7 squared plus our unknown squared equals 25 squared. But this is one of our Pythagorean triples, right? Those are some that a lot of times in your geometry class, your teacher wants you to memorize. So this is what we call a 7, 24, 25 triangle. So again, that helps speed things up. But again, if you didn't know that, right, you could do 7 squared plus that unknown squared equals 25 squared, and then solve for that unknown piece and get 24. All right, so now we know that DC is 24. Well, I could also then know that from E to some other point over here, that this is also 24. And now I have another right triangle set up inside of the rectangle. So here, let me highlight that one in a different color so that we can see what we're doing with right now. Right, we're trying to find this triangle right here. I know it's not perfect, but I know the hypotenuse, I know a leg, and then I am looking for another leg. Right, so I want to find that piece there because I know that this piece has to be 7 because of this side of the rectangle and that triangle that I just found. Right, it's another 7, 24, 25 triangle. All right, so I got a hypotenuse, I got a leg, I need another leg. So let's use Pythagorean's theorem to solve for this other piece. So Pythagorean's theorem is a leg squared, so 24 squared plus x squared equals, and then our hypotenuse, which is 26 squared. So if we crunch these numbers, it's kind of annoying because I can't get to my calculator from this zoomed in view, but 24 times 24 is 576. I don't know my x squared. And then 26 times 26 is 676. So now I just solve this equation, subtract 576 from both sides. I end up with x squared equals 100. And then now I square root both sides. So x is equal to 10. All right, so we got to be careful here now, right? We just found out that x is 10, but remember what we want. We want this whole other side here, BC. So we want to add that 7 and that 10 together. Not terribly difficult to get 17. However, I'm pretty sure one of the answers in the answer bank there is probably 10, right? That's very common of ACT where you find something and then use it to get something else, but they try to throw you off by having that piece inside of their answer, right? So we're looking for answer 17. So let's close this. And okay, so there's our answer, right? C, but there's that 10, right? So that piece that they're trying to throw you off with because that's part of solving this problem, but it's not our actual answer. All right, thanks for listening, everyone. I know that this isn't the most exciting or fun stuff out there. However, your future self is going to thank you if you like and subscribe because this is going to help you improve your math ACT score. Thanks, everyone.